All right, let's talk about something that changes so fast it's almost impossible to keep up, SEO. And hey, if you think you've got a handle on what modern SEO is, you might want to stick around. It's probably not what you think anymore.
So let me ask you something. When I say the word SEO, what's the very first thing that pops into your head? Is it keywords? Backlinks? Maybe website speed? Whatever it is, just hold that thought for a second.
Because, whatever you just thought of, that's probably just one tiny piece of the puzzle now. The whole world of SEO has just exploded. The old rulebook, it doesn't really cut it anymore. We're talking about a whole new, much more complex ecosystem.
To really get a grip on where this is all headed, we've got to first look back at the basics, right? So let's take those classic pillars of SEO, but we're going to look at them through a completely modern lens to see just how much they've changed.
First up, on-page SEO. Remember the old days? It was basically a game of how many times can I cram this keyword onto the page? It was not very subtle. Well, today that's completely out. It's all about user intent. Search engines are incredibly smart now. They don't just see the words you type, they understand the why behind your search. So your content, it has to actually solve a real problem for a real person.
Then you've got off-page SEO. Oh, man. Remember when the goal was just a race to get the most backlinks? Just hundreds, thousands of links from anywhere you could find. Yeah, those days are so over. Now, just one single link from a super respected, high-authority site is worth more than 1,000 of those spammy ones. The entire game is flipped from quality to quality. It's about building genuine, real-world authority.
And rounding out the classics, we have Technical SEO. This used to be pretty simple. Just make the website load fast. Okay, easy enough. But now, it's way more than that. Speed is still king, for sure, but now we're talking about core web vitals. That's a fancy way of measuring the entire user experience, like how fast does stuff appear, when can you actually click on something, and on top of all that, your site now has to be built so that AI can read and understand it easily.
Okay, so that's our foundation. It's solid, it's essential, but it's really just the ground floor. Now we get to build the cool stuff on top, the new strategies that are designed from the ground up for a world run by AI. This is where things get really interesting.
First up is Semantic SEO. This pairs perfectly with that user intent thing we just talked about. Instead of focusing on one single keyword, you're building content around an entire topic. You're connecting the dots, showing how different ideas relate to each other. This helps search engines and AI understand the deeper meaning and context of your page. It's not just words, it's knowledge.
And that leads us perfectly into AEO. That's Answer Engine Optimization. I mean, think about it. When was the last time you used a search engine just to find a list of links? More often than not, you want an answer, right? AEO is all about making your content the answer. It's about formatting it so it can be pulled directly into a featured snippet, a voice search reply, or one of those new AI summaries.
Right next door is AIO, or AI optimization. This is super similar, but the focus is purely on making your content a piece of cake for AI models to digest. We're talking clear headings, a logical flow, and using something called schema markup. Think of schema as little tags that tell the AI exactly what each piece of content is. You're literally spoon-feeding the AI, which makes it way more likely to feature your stuff.
And that takes us to the next level, the real endgame, GEO, or Generative Engine Optimization. The goal here is huge. It's to build so much trust and authority that when a generative AI gives an answer, it actually cites you as the source. This is where that high-quality off-page SEO we talked about comes back in a big way. It's all about proving your experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness, or EEAT. You've got to be the real deal.
And last but not least in this new lineup, we have SXO, Search Experience Optimization. This is so important. It's the idea that SEO doesn't end once someone clicks on your link. It's about what happens next. Was your site a nightmare to use? Did they get frustrated and leave? Or did they easily find exactly what they needed? It's where the technical stuff meets great design to make sure the user has a fantastic experience from start to finish.
Okay, whoa. AEO, IEO, GEO, SXO. I know. That's a ton of new acronyms. It might feel like you have to juggle a dozen different things. But here's the secret. The real magic happens when you see that they aren't separate at all. They're all pieces of the same puzzle.
So that brings us to the million-dollar question, really. Do you have to pick and choose from all these strategies, or do they all need to work together?
And the answer is a huge, resounding yes, they work together.
Absolutely. A modern, successful SEO strategy isn't about choosing one over the other. It's about weaving all of them into one single, powerful plan. They don't compete with each other. They actually make each other stronger.
Let's think of it like building a house, because it's the perfect analogy. Your foundation? That's your classic on-page, off-page, and technical SEO. You can't build anything without a solid foundation, period. Then you build the walls and the roof. That's your structure and context. That's your semantic SEO and your search experience optimization. And then, for the final touch, you install a smart home system. That's your AEO, AIO, and GEO. That's what makes it a truly modern, intelligent home.
And look, getting this integrated approach right is more important than ever. Why? Because the whole idea of search is breaking out of the traditional search box. It's not just about ranking on Google anymore, not by a long shot.
Think about how you find information now. You're talking to your voice assistant, right? You're asking questions directly to an AI chatbot. You're getting instant summaries from new platforms. The whole game of how we discover information has been completely rewritten.
Because of all this, something called zero-click searches are skyrocketing. That's when you get your answer right there on the results page and you never even have to click a link. So the goal isn't just to get someone to visit your website anymore. The new goal is to be the answer itself. And that right there is why all those AI-focused strategies we talked about are absolutely non-negotiable now.
The source material we're looking at sums it up perfectly. It basically says that SEO isn't this little isolated thing you do anymore. It's now a holistic digital strategy that pulls together all these different channels and technologies. It's gone from being a checkbox on a marketing list to a core part of how you show up in the world.
So, I'll just leave you with this one question to think about. The world of search has moved way beyond a simple list of blue links. So in this new, crazy, AI-driven digital world, where are you going to show up?